So the Republican Party having a hard time with Donald Trump, right? When I mean hard time, it's like, oh, we have to get behind a guy who's a creep and a racist and an incompetent and a maniac and just a general embarrassment. And guess what? They're going to do it. They're doing it. So that's great to see. They're already making excuses for his racism. It's like making excuses for Hitler. It's like, come on. Yeah, he's had said some controversial things with the Jews.
I hear he loves women.
Well, yes. And here is Donald Trump also saying some controversial. Controversial. The metric system is controversial. Should we adopt it? Should we not? You know what's not controversial? Racism. That's not controversial. That's you're a racist. So, and then he can't help it. He just can't help. He's gone from hating the Mexicans and Muslims to now he's hating the Jews. Who's next? Catholics? I'm all for it. So, he went to Congress. So Trump, as of today's, what's today's date? The 7th, 8th,
yes,
9th? 7th. Today's somewhere in July. And Trump went to Capitol Hill to talk with the congressional Republicans and the Senate Republicans, and went along swimmingly in the House. Everybody got along.
He wasn't booed?
Wasn't booed like Bernie Sanders was booed.
God.
He went to the Senate, and a guy named Jeff Flake, who's a senator from Arizona, gave him a bit of grief. Jeff Flake, the senator from Arizona, you remember who the other senator from Arizona is? John McCain. So Jeff Flake gave him a hard time and said, I'm the other senator from Arizona. I wasn't captured. So he stood up and he gave Trump a hard time, which is what they're all supposed to do. They're all supposed to stand up and say, what the fuck is wrong with you? We want to cut it out or we're not going to get behind you. But that's not what they're saying, right? Because they're all sellouts, right? They're all kind of gross people themselves, right? They're all narcissistic money grubbers and power, and they're in it for power. And they're all shallow. They have no integrity, right? Because if you had integrity, you would stand up to Donald Trump. You wouldn't get behind him like Chris Christie and everyone else in the Republican Party, except for Jeff Flake. So Jeff Flake stands up to him, and why am I bringing?
Okay.
And so why am I bringing this up? So they go. So Nicole Wallace. I don't know if you remember Nicole Wallace. She was. She worked on the McCain campaign, right? She's a right-wing talking head. She said this about him going to Congress and meeting with the Republicans, and Jeff Flake giving Trump a hard time. This is what she had to say about it. Listen to this.
Someone who was in that first meeting, and I understood it went much better than the second. But
the first meeting in the House went much better than the second. Yeah, House Congressman, no problem. Yeah, we're crazy too. We're crazy. We don't like immigrants. We want to build that wall. We're maniacs. We want to bankrupt the government. We want to do it. And that doesn't, we're out of our minds. This guy's perfect for us. It's Donald Trump. So that went well. He goes to the Senate.
To Jeff Flake, he, I guess, gave him a hard time about being tough on him. And Jeff Flake, if you're to believe news reports, no one's disputing them at this point, said, yes, I'm the other senator from Arizona, the one who wasn't captured, and I'd like to talk to you about those kinds of statements. So he was confronted face-to-face with some of his critics. Got to give Trump credit on the one hand for, staring them down or meeting with them or listening to this criticism.
Why?
Again, they can't help themselves. They have to go out of their way to find something nice to say about Donald Trump. The biggest creep in the history, modern history to run for president. Creep, just blatant, on the face creep. Misogynist, the stuff he said to Megyn Kelly, the stuff he said to Carly Fiorina, the stuff he said about Mexicans and how he lies about Muslims. What he's saying about Jews. Hey, you know what, though? You got to give him credit. You got to give Hitler credit. You got to give Hitler credit. He did stand up and, what? You got to get, this is what she's literally. No, you're supposed to stand up to him, Nicole. If you had a shred of integrity, if you had any integrity, you would say, God bless Jeff Flake, and what's the wrong with the rest of our party? What is this? What kind of charade are we playing here? No, that's not what she said. She's like, you got to give him credit, huh? You got to give that guy credit. I'm a woman. He probably raped a 13-year-old girl. He has been horrible. He beat his wife, raped her. But you got to give him credit.
Oh, she's afraid she might lose access. You know, I don't want to say anything bad about Mothra because I might lose access.
Something bad about what?
Mothra.
What's Mothra?
Mothra.
Godzilla's villain.
Godzilla's villain, yeah. You know, Godzilla.
I hope there's not a test on that.
I'm sorry.
You know, Jimmy, according to the Washington Post, Trump said at the meeting that he had yet been hard on Flake, but threatened to begin doing so. And Flake stood up to Trump by urging him to stop attacking Mexicans. And then Trump predicted that Flake will be losing his bid for office again.
Yeah, Trump. Then he told Trump, I'm not up for election. I'm not up for election.
Idiot.
I mean, and so people like Nicole Wallace, they don't care that they completely throw their reputation. They have nothing. So you're just going to say nice things about Donald Trump? Why would anyone ever listen to you? You have no self-respect. If you had self-respect, you wouldn't say things like you have to give Donald Trump credit. They have none of them. I'm not saying just her. I'm saying all the Republicans, except for Jeff Flake, apparently. Jeff Flake is the one guy who has balls. Even John McCain doesn't have balls.
He went on to say, they asked him, a reporter asked John Flake afterwards, they said, what her thoughts was. He says, I'll just leave it at that, but my position remains. I want to support the nominee. I really do. I just can't support him given the things that he's said.
Yeah, so that's Jeff Flake saying, hey, I want to be a loyalist because that's what Republicans value, being loyal, even if it's wrong. So we'll be loyal. No, instead of valuing standing up to somebody when it's hard, when it's right, they value going along with someone who's wrong. Remember, right-wing mentality is might makes right. They literally think that. So whatever God did, remember he kills people, and it's because he's God. He's all-powerful. So if someone's got the power, they deserve it. They're moral, and the way you're more moral is by following power. Just remember, that's how they think. Let's remember this. So the more you succumb to power, or the more you follow power, the more moral you are in a right-winger's head. So going against Donald Trump would be courageous. Going along with him like this, that's what they call loyalty, but that gets them points. So that's all. Let's see if she said anything else.
You got to give Jeff Flake credit for taking his beef with Trump straight to Trump, but I don't think anything was resolved.
Yeah, you got to give them both credit. You know, the guy who stands up to Hitler, and you got to give Hitler a little credit too. You got to give, it was nice that FDR joined the war, and we went in Churchill and everything. Those guys get credit, but you got to give Himmler a lot of credit. Come on, the final solution was a pretty good solution. You got to give them both credit. You got to give credit to the guy who stands up against a fascist, racist, misogynistic creep. And you have to give that guy, the misogynist, racist, fascist creep credit, too. Because I'm a Republican, and that's how my fucked up brain works. That's amazing.
Paul Ryan said, I thought he did a great job engaging with our members, and I think our members appreciated it.
They're talking about the biggest embarrassment this country has ever produced on a national scale. That's who they're talking about. I think he did a great job. So why these guys nothing. These guys are scum of the earth. This Paul Ryan, scum of the earth. If you support Donald Trump and you're a politician, you are scum of the earth. I know it sounds like hyperbole, but it's about time someone stood up to Donald Trump, and it's about time someone stood up to the people who won't stand up to Donald Trump. Meaning you, scum of the earth. Yeah, I'll go along. Yeah, sure, he's racist, he's anti-Semitic, he's misogynistic, whatever. But you know what? I like his tax policy. Oh, speaking of that,